Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is OJ Kenyatte Johnson. I am the founder and CEO of The Black More. Uh, our mission is to educate, motivate, and uplift Black people worldwide and everyone who loves us, regardless of race, religion, or nationality. Today, I've got my good friend Regis Harvey with me. We have a quick discussion here, a little bit on 4th of July. What does 4th of July mean to us? Historical context on the 4th of July, a little bit about Frederick Douglass and his great speech. What to the slave is the 4th of July. We're going to kind of dive into all of that for the national holiday. But Regis, let me first say, how are you, my brother? How you been? What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm doing real good. It is, of course, the July 4th weekend coming up, starting actually tomorrow, on Friday, and just going with the flow. And I just hope everybody has a fun and safe 4th of July. And just make sure everybody's doing good.
You gonna be eating, celebrating this year? What you got going on?
We're trying to maybe see about, normally on the 4th of July, we hang out with our neighbors, and it's kind of like a little block party, you could say, corner party.
Nice.
And then this time, we may try to engage with some other neighbors and, just bring it in together. So that's the plan.
Love that. Yeah, man, when the kids were little, we used to have those block parties, man. I used to bring the barbecue pits out in the front yard.
That's right.
All the neighbors be out there grilling and everything, celebrating the 4th. I love that. Now that my kids are a little bit older, man, we're not doing nothing. I probably won't even see my kids. They got their own significant others. They doing their own thing now. It'll probably just be me and the wifey watching TV. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, when we have kids and they little, it's a big thing and stuff, and especially when we were kids. And now, as older we get, we kind of just want to chill. So, right. Totally understand.
Did you grow up celebrating the 4th of July?
Yeah, we did. It wasn't like a really big thing, but it was something we did celebrate. We kind of, like I said, we did it more around with the neighbors instead of kind of like isolating, doing ourselves and stuff. So it's more of a block event and stuff that we did.
Or even growing up and stuff. Yeah.
So
we always celebrated the 4th as well, and it was always with the neighbors, and we always did a little fireworks stuff in the front yard, right? The smoke bombs, the sparklers, and all that kind of stuff on the 4th, which is crazy. My family, my mother in particular, she celebrated every holiday.
Yeah.
Like it was red, white, and blue streamers in my household for 4th of July.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day, it'd be green flyers and shamrocks and little leprechauns and stuff like posted all over the house. So we definitely celebrated.
I would say the main extravaganza was the food. That was it for me. It was the food. People barbecue. You have ribs. Yes. You got barbecue links. You got the hamburger, cheeseburgers. You get down. So everyone kind of bring their own little recipe. And I ate good. So that was part of my biggest thing. Is that I'm a foodie, so people get down and show their little skills, and I had no problem eating it up.
Hey, but stay away from the potato salad if got raisins in it. One of your neighbors put in raisins in the potato salad. I ain't eating it.
Yeah,
I'm not eating it.
No raisins. Raisins / can't do no cottage cheese.
I ain't trying to do it.
No.
Hey, well, let's get into that.
Cobbler, though.
Hey, 1,000%. I'll take the peach cobbler and the apple pie.
That's right.
I'll take an a la mode with some ice cream on top of that bad boy too. But look, let's get into that real quick because I know in this day and age, this 2026, big controversy, right? As African Americans, as Black people, what have you, should we celebrate 4th of July? Should we only celebrate Juneteenth or what have you? I know that's a lot of controversy kind of right now, but I will say this. Let me just throw my little 2 cents in. First of, we kind of talked about already that I grew up celebrating the 4th of July. We celebrated every holiday. When I was a kid, again, now I'm 55 years old. When I was a kid, we didn't even have a Juneteenth. We didn't know what Juneteenth was. We didn't celebrate. I didn't learn even about Juneteenth. I learned about it older when I was late teens, early 20s a little bit, but I never really knew it was a holiday, honestly, until maybe the last 10 years, something like that, as far as a holiday. And now, yeah, it's a huge holiday that I do get down on is Juneteenth. But I always grew up celebrating the 4th of July, and my father was a military guy. And so the national holiday, national independence, that kind of stuff was always big. And I always felt that I wanted to honor the nation's independence. I always felt in tune to those Black military people, right? My grandfather, my grandmother, my father, uncles, brother-in-law's, father, all served in this country and very patriotic. Even when I feel like they fought for America, even when America didn't always fight for them. And so it's something that I always still want to tap into. And I always feel like Black people have been involved in every scrimmage that has ever happened, every war, every battle, every scrimmage in American history. And so you can't take us out of the history. You can't whitewash us out of it. You can't tap us out. We're all here. And I'm celebrating the ideology of what it is to be America and American independence, not necessarily the reality of its historical actions, but the ideology of what America says it stands for is why I fly the flag on 4th of July. Talk to me a little bit about your experience.
So you and I got some things in common. I mean, I have my great grandfather was in World War One. He was in the military as well, and then my grandfather was in the army. My great uncles were in the army. That would be my grandfather's brothers. And then as far as my mom's side of the family, one of her brothers was in the Air Force. My mom was in the Navy. My stepdad was in the Navy as well. So they met. So we both got a lot in common as far as like family that have committed themselves and served the country and stuff. And I say that, even when it was very strong and they were from the South, so in Georgia, in Alabama. So even with strong Jim Crow, they still served our country. And
proudly, sure, proudly.
Yeah. And with all the discriminations and very violent overt racism as well as covert racism that they experienced, how they still prevailed and respected, as far as serving our country. And I would say, in historical context, like you said, in almost every fashion of war, Black people have been involved in it, whether it's with the independence of the youth for the, making the United States, and the Civil War. You got the Buffalo Soldiers as well, and people don't really want to talk about, but Buffalo Soldiers was a major contributor to the U.S. And then World War One, World War Two. You can go Korean War, Vietnam, Gulf War, every war you can think of. African Americans have contributed, and so it needs to be known. Yeah. As far as with the flag, I would say my side of the family definitely went for uniforms, but as far as maybe flying the flag, The family hasn't done that. And, you know, there wasn't that they were not proud to be Americans and proud of serving the country. But I would say, as far as, I would say their experience and stuff, and maybe the hypocrisy of the country, not respecting them. Because there's people that went out into war and then come back and wearing their uniform and got killed, got lynched.
Tortured.
Tortured.
In the uniform.
In the uniform. And so this is something that people don't want to talk about. And so people want to say, well, that happened a long time ago. So I give it in context that just go back, our parents, when they were born, they weren't born with full civil rights. They were born in Jim Crow era. And so Jim Crow,
my father was born in 1930.
Yeah, Jim Crow isn't that long ago.
No, not
at all.
So
that ended. So I'm saying that Jim Crow even happened during, and still in the 70s and early 80s that it started to end. So this is when Ronald Reagan was even president. So I'm trying to tell people that Jim Crow did not end that long ago, and it did last over 100 years. So this is something that people need to understand. So there's some people that families that's like, you know, proud of, you know, showing the flag, displaying the flag and everything, and then you know, them serving. And there's people that said that, hey, you know, this country want to put on the image of it, of what the flag is, but the behavior has not reflected the image of the flag, if that makes sense. It's like, hey, the flag's supposed to
hypocrisy, the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
You want to say one thing but do another, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's supposed to be, you know, indivisible with life, liberty, you know,
justice for all. But it's not really, like it's not. So it's not liberty. It's not truly liberty and justice for all. You want to say these words, but your actions do not respect the words of that.
Like the very fact of saying all men are created equal while holding slaves.
Yes.
While holding people enslaved. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and so people want to say, well, it was theoretical. No, you go by the words of what's being said. And so, you know, some of the backlash is like, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. You hear a lot of that. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, let's go down to then Washington, D.C. The White House, Black folks built that. Washington, D.C., Black folks built that.
Absolutely.
So you can think of every major federal monument, Black folks built that. So we built this.
I think it was Benjamin Banneker that went back and I think redesigned the layouts of the streets and everything else, just off of memory and things that it used to be. Again, Black excellence that they don't talk about, tell you about, right? You're talking about the independence, right? American independence. The first person to die, the first martyr for American independence was a Black man by the name of Crispus Attucks. You can go look this up, right? I'm not making this up. A lot of people accuse me trying to rewrite history, trying to blackwash history. I'm just telling truth that they refuse to tell you, and that your current president administration also wants to make illegal, right, to talk about any Black excellence that has happened in this country or around the world. Don't want you to know about it, want to hide it, want to take it down and put it in the backyard somewhere so you never know and just bury it. But we talk about all that here at the Blackmore. We're not going for none of that.
That's right.
Don't get me excited on that topic. But yeah, look it up. Crispus Attucks. That was his name. Down in the Boston Massacre. Check it out. But let's get back to this. But so yeah, you know, and a lot of people are saying, well, because when the 4th of July or the American independence, right? They were talking about, oh, you know, we're independent and freedom and this and that while holding people enslaved. right? Which is, I think, kind of one of the things that we were going to talk about anyways, which is Frederick Douglass's anger. So in July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, July 5th, 1852, the great Frederick Douglass, and I wish I could present this to you guys. I couldn't get it uploaded for free. It wanted me to pay and subscribe and everything, but go look it up on YouTube. We got a couple. What was the first one we wanted to look up? Because there's one by the Descendants. What's the name of that one, Regis?
It is called What to the Slave is the 4th of July. Descendants read Frederick Douglass speech.
Okay. And we'll have
these
a
are
link in the comments
descendants.
down there. But these are his actually descendants.
Douglass bloodline. And these are young adults. Some of them are teenagers as well. They not just read the speech, but then they also give their input about it. Mm-hmm. Very powerful. Very powerful. And it correlates a lot with this 4th of July.
Right.
Correlates a lot.
Definitely. Very powerful. Once you guys look at it, come back. And we would love to hear any comments from anybody. Please. We would love to be involved. We'd love to hear any comments from anyone who did watch it, and get your input and your intake on it, because it is very powerful. And this is our youth. This is our youth that are speaking out here in 2026. So it's incredible.
This is Gen Z.
Exactly.
And Gen younger.
Z. Yeah, absolutely. But check out the speech. You can read it. You know, I do it every 4th of July because it's so powerful. But the thing that I've always noticed about it, that I like about it, is just the fiery anger in which Frederick Douglass is talking about. He fully calls out America for its hypocrisy, and just does it so eloquently. And again, it's 1852 when this man is doing it. I mean,
not even 100 years. Well, you know, I'm celebrating it. 1776. Yeah. Very powerful. Called it out in front of everyone, and no one could argue it. Well, what are they going to say? He called them out, and no comebacks. They didn't have no comeback. Like, what are you going to say? So
there's nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
I mean, that's why, again, I think in 2026 it still resonates with so many people.
Yes.
Why so many people still, read it. Now, again, on you can look at YouTube, you can watch other people read it. It's fantastic. But again, he calls out America for its hypocrisy. I'm looking for a couple of these lines here. Let me just try this real quick. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm hyped up here. So part of it right here, since we don't have the video, but says America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds it herself to be false to the future, standing with God and the crushed and bleeding slave on this occasion. I will, in the name of humanity, which is outraged, in the name of liberty, which is fettered, in the name of the Constitution and the Bible, which are disregarded and trampled upon, dare to call in question and denounce with all the emphasis I can command everything that serves to perpetuate slavery. I mean, and he just goes on and on and on, but it's just a fiery attack that I love to just read every 4th of July.
Yeah, the most part, just that, and then I think the other most powerful part is from the slave perspective on the 4th of July. And so you have the first part, then you have the second part from the slave perspective.
Right.
And it's very powerful.
Yeah, the part I wrote, that was just like the intro.
Yeah, like, hey, so I'm going to give you just parts of it. You want to talk about liberty and justice for all, but then what about you're not including us? You want to talk about God and everything, but we consider certain parts of the Bible that we should only read, and not the whole context of the Bible.
Right.
Yeah. Right. During that time, they told Black folks, you only supposed to know certain parts of the Bible, and not the whole Bible.
Right.
And we're in charge of being the narrator of what it means.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that claim to be
Absolutely.
Christian.
Right.
So I have nothing against Christians. I believe in Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. Just I'm, a man of God. But as Christians, we want to go ahead and point up the flaws of everyone else, but we don't want to point out about our own baggage. And then they come back as, oh, we imperfect people. Yes, we are. But we got to tell the whole truth and not just certain parts of it.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's what I did in his speech.
Yeah. He called in the hypocrisy of the morality. Right? They're trying to talk, and you're trying to take the moral high ground and say that you come from a race of people that are so superior, right, to everybody else in the moral high ground of your integrity, but yet you own a slave, which is against, abomination against God's own creation. And again, this is what is it, 1859, 1852.
1852
that he's calling this out. Again, this is why Douglas will always be, to me, an American hero.
I agree.
American hero.
So you know what was and so amazing about him, and that was he did not just fight against being an abolitionist, fighting against slavery. He fought against the oppression of Irish people for them to practice their religion.
Mm-hmm.
He also, him and a number of people, they even fought against the Chinese Exclusion Act because that came about.
Yep.
So,
and don't forget women and
women rights,
women's suffrage.
And guess what? The brother his first wife passed away. He got remarried to a white woman, so he interracial too.
Yep.
So obviously, I commend the woman that married him because she got backlash from it, but she like, hey, my man is strong and proud. So
right.
This is something. This is what he was. Very, I'm gonna say like revolutionary, but just very out there.
It was revolutionary for the time.
For the time.
For his time.
For his time, it was unbelievable for how many different groups to support. So, all my Asian brothers and sisters out there, I want y'all to know, us Black folks advocated against that Chinese Exclusion Act. So, y'all need to hear that.
All right. And listen, and I'll double down on that. Black people have always, I repeat, Black people have always fought for the rights of everybody else. Because we understand at the end of the day, it all comes down to human rights, humanity. And if you do one thing wrong to one class or one type of people, that means you're going to be able to do it to another and do it down to everybody. So that's why everybody benefits from the civil rights era. I don't care, women, every minority, all benefited from the civil rights era, and even before that, all the work that Black people and collectively all people of all different colors and races have done to come together to stamp out slavery, white supremacy, prejudice, Jim Crow laws, every ism, I guess you could say.
I'm giving credit is due to the abolitionists. I mean, to the Quakers and to even some of the Amish. They was against slavery and stuff. So you got to give credit to
I got to say, my man, who I made a video about the other day, John Brown. That white abolitionist was the Black people's greatest ally.
And he was the first one that was and then he was assassinated first person with treason.
Yes.
Treason against the United States. They hung him because he was.
He was about that action.
Yes, he was, John Brown. So
John Brown.
People look, and I encourage our audience, look these people up. Look them up.
Yeah, and if you want to look in the 1800s, go look up Congress and senators. I think there was a Congress and senator. Just Thaddeus Stevens and Charles Sumner. They're the ones that were in the legal system, also trying to fight for 40 acres and a mule. right? They're trying to get equal rights for people, trying to, all of this kind of stuff. These are white guys that were in government that were fighting again, and they were, being attacked. They had their lives being threatened, because they just standing up for what's right and standing up for Black people and humanity. That was a thing back then to really take. You could die from that. You could die. Can you imagine that? Living in a time when you could die just for speaking up for equal rights for someone. Just humanity, just for what's right, what's fair, what's equitable, what's equal.
Sad thing, if people do that now, they can lose their job or lose their home right now.
Right now. Yep.
And it's sad. So
it's yeah. I don't know. What do you got as far as? Oh, we didn't finish. So the 4th of July, right? We still kind of celebrate. Not too bad. You don't do flag, what have you. But then, as opposed to then, do you really dive deep into Juneteenth, before and current, like so as a kid and currently now?
Similar to you, I think I was exposed to it during my teenage years in regards to Juneteenth. Started with probably like with family members. I think they wanted me to get a little bit more mature. I would say, like, for example, my grandmother, my grandparents, they watched Roots.
You didn't watch it? You didn't wait, time out. Wait, you said your grandparents. You didn't watch it with them?
Oh yeah, they got
my whole family, they made us watch. We were traumatized
watching
Roots.
Yeah, so they made me watch Roots kind of like when I was like probably like 9 years old. And then as I got a little older, the stages of it, they watched again, like I'm probably like 12 or 13, and then watch it again like I'm 15, and then again, like my late teens. And then, after that, I continued on when I mean, even in my college years and as an adult. And that is every few years I go back and watch it. And just when you go back and watch it, you can see how it really relates to today, even though, I think it ended like the series in the late 70s or whatever. But I watched it like 80s, 90s, 2000s and stuff. But I call it, and this is just my opinion, I call it kind of like the social structure American Bible roots. I look at it as that way. And just how evolution has evolved from Kunta Kinte to Alex Haley. And if you just see the journey of the family with the stories and just the social part, the political part, the relationship part, interaction and all of that on there. Financial, economic part of it, it covers all of that. And so that's how that's just my lens, how I look at it. I even got, and I pass it on to my kids that they watch it as well. And so even they, my kids, they say, hey, we want to watch it again before we go back to school.
That's amazing.
And so they really do take in the like I said, the history of it and see how it applies today, because it really does apply today. And I tell people, okay, if we use the Bible or the Quran and how everything in their words will apply up today, it's the same thing with this. It, even though it's in the past, how it applies today. Same people's belief system, polarizing laws and policies and all that. It applies today. So very powerful with that.
Can I share with you one of the most powerful scenes out of all of them to me? There's so many powerful scenes, right? There's so many, and that whole series is generational. Just like you're saying, you see it from the beginning all the way up to what becomes out Alex Hayes.
Yeah.
But man, the scene that gets me, and again, there's so many of them, but this one scene, it's what I call the Kunta Kinte Toby scene, when it's the mentality of the slave owner breaking this strong black man down, where he's saying, "My name is Kunta. My name is Kunta," and they're whipping him, they're beating him, they're torturing him, breaking his spirit down, and telling him, "Your name is Toby. Answer to Toby. We want you to have that Toby mentality, right?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna do it." And they finally break him down, and you can see like his spirit get cracked. I don't want to say it was totally broken, but it's definitely damaged. And he breaks down and says, "My name is Toby," right? Mm-hmm. And to me, I always feel like I got the spirit of Kunta inside of me. Like I'm always gonna be a Kunta. But we got some black people, right? And again, I don't want to generalize, but I'm gonna generalize with those black MAGA supporters or those people that are still in the Trump cabinet. They have a Toby mentality, right? They no longer have that spirit of Kunta in them, but they now have eaten so much of the American pie that they believe the BS, the hypocrisy that has been hand-fed them generationally, that now they have a Toby mentality. I have a problem with those type of people.
Yeah. And then, as you can say, that's what you can use with Malcolm X, talk about the house slave and the field slave.
Absolutely.
And somehow slaves like, look, I got everything I need. I don't need to leave the big house. I got food, got better clothes, all of that. Where I need
Who gonna have it better than us?
I ain't gonna leave my resources. And the field slave, like, man, I gotta be out. I'll risk my life to be out. Yeah. And somehow slaves did follow the field slave. And the many house slaves stayed with the house.
Yep.
And what
Malcolm says, some of them try to if the house is on fire, they're gonna try to put the house out out harder than the slave master would.
Yep, that's when you want to get in. Django or Jamie Foxx. Yep. So I'm just gonna put this out there. I was Steven. It's very, Samuel L. Jackson played Steven. Yep. I would just say, I'm gonna say this on here. Clarence Thomas, you are a Steven.
You're a Steven. Hey,
that's a Steven.
Absolutely. Like how did we go from Thurgood Marshall to then his replacement being Thurman Thomas? I mean,
Clarence Thomas.
Thurman Thomas. That was a football player. Yeah. How Clarence Thomas? The Steve? How easy is a replacement? That's just horrible.
Yeah. Yep. Like, I don't hate the man, but I'm just saying that's a Steven. And there's many other Stevens out there. And I don't hate him or anything like that, because just like MLK say, hate cannot drive out hate. But it's just you gotta be aware of it. And I talk to people in our parents and grandparents generation, and we talked about it, like, yeah, brother, you got a point. They see it too. So I mean, and that is that there's going to be people that want to totally conform and assimilate to the dominant culture, and there's people that on our polar opposite, and there's people that's in the middle. And so total conform assimilation to totally opposite of not going to conform at all, and people that's in the middle. Yeah. So it is what it is. But
and let me say this, because you just sparked something in my brain here. Something that I've always said. I think I've made a video about this too, probably 5-10 years ago. But when you're talking about that total assimilation, right? People want to say, "Oh, well, if you don't like it, get out this country," right? They want you to totally assimilate to the American ideology, I guess, or false ideology, not the real. But it's that whole concept of a melting pot. I've always hated that concept of let's have everybody come together and be a melting pot. To me, a melting pot just takes everything, breaks it down into one same consistency, color, flavor, everything, right?
No, I would say it's a salad or gumbo.
That's what I was gonna say. We should be more of a salad, gumbo, or like a stew, right? Something like that, where you got your base, but you got all these other different parts that come together to make a fantastic American dish. That's what America's about.
That's what America is, a salad or a gumbo. Because you can have shrimp, you can have crab, you can have sausage, you can have vegetables, you can mix it all. But they all have their unique flavor, and they all bring something to the table. So you can have protein, you can have maybe some iron, you can have all of these things that your body be like, yeah, I got all of this at once, and it tastes good. So that's how I kind of look at it, as that. So it's the same whether you having black folks, or you having Asian, whether you having white folks, you have Latino. We all have our flavor. That I'm not gonna forget my Native Indigenous brothers and sisters. We all have our flavor. We all have our flavor, and that just makes it remarkable.
Yeah. It makes a man, that to me, that's what makes America America.
Yeah.
Right. That's what makes America great.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, listen, hey, Donald Trump. Hey, Donald Trump, I'm speaking to you. What really makes America great again, what makes America great is our differences, our diversity, our inclusion, our fair equity. That is what makes America great. That's what we should be focusing on, right?
Yeah.
On all the different people, all the different aspects, that American gumbo that we're talking about. That's what
I would say that is what makes America great.
Right.
But I would say if any group in this whole United States that want to say what would make America great again, the only group is Native Indigenous people have the right to say that, because of the exploitation. And now we have all this, climate change and all of that, and, fumes and, smog and all of that. It was fresh air. Right. You had enough food to eat. There was that balanced ecosystem.
And nobody owned the land.
Yeah.
Nobody owned the land.
Yeah. It was a balanced ecosystem. Yeah. And so they're the only group that I would say that have the right to say that statement, make America great again. No white people. Right. No, you don't have the right to say that. No any other group except our Native Indigenous brothers and sisters.
I bet you our Indigenous brothers and sisters would say America would make America great again. All of y'all have to get out.
They probably would.
All of y'all would have to get out.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. But that's the only group. But to say what makes America great or can be great is the salad and the gumbo.
That's it. Man, I think that's a wonderful spot to end this on. Unless you have any more thoughts on the 4th of July, American independence, this great country that we happen to live in, that we're staying. Ain't nobody kicking us out.
Yeah. So definitely check the link in regards of the speech from Frederick Douglass' descendants.
Yes.
Again, it's called Slave versus the 4th of July. What to the
slave is the 4th of July. That's the name of the actual Frederick Douglass speech.
Yep, descendants read by Frederick Douglass speech by them. This is from his family descendants, his family members.
Right.
Definitely listen to it. It's on YouTube. And I would love for everyone to give the feedback. And and then all the other people that we named here on this video, do your research. Mm-hmm. So I tell people this: listen to the facts and do the facts before you express your opinion. Everyone has opinion. Everyone has beliefs. But if you're going to exclude facts and the truth for your polarizing beliefs and ideology, you miss out on the whole concept.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to listen. Again, talking to you always sparks stuff in my head, man. You got to do your research, right? Because again, this is why Trump wants the uneducated. This is why he wants you to be sleep, right? Why he's anti. He don't want you to be woke. He wants you to be sleep to everything that's going on. Stay stupid, dumb, and unconscious to what's going on. We trying to wake you up. We want you to stay woke. Do your education. Get the real history out there, the real facts. Don't just believe, anything that you see on the internet. And good Lord, pick up a book. That's me personally. Read.
And term woke, it's been around for a very long time, so it's not just like recently. That what came from SZA. But I'm just letting you know, the word woke been a long time. In fact, if you're going to want to go there, I'll put it to you this way, and that is the Pharisees said to the woman that was committing an affair, and they wanted to. This is in the Bible that they wanted to stone this woman, saying that she committed adultery, and he asked Jesus, "So what do you think, Rabbi?" And he was playing in the sand and stuff, and he said, "Okay, any of you who never committed sin, cast the first stone." Woke is mean you got to take your blinders off and you got to do self-reflection about yourself before you go ahead and judge others.
Yeah.
So
I love when you just pointed out Jesus was woke. I love you just pointed that out.
Yep. So
absolutely.
He said the greatest, then they said, hey, what's the greatest commandment you give? The greatest commandment is love God with all their heart, mind, and spirit, and love thy neighbor just as much you love yourself. That's the greatest. So what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Yeah.
That means, hey, you can't just love you. So I'm telling people, you can't just love your own ethnic group or also my Christian brothers and sisters. You can't just love Christians. You gotta love Muslims. You gotta love people that's from another religion. It says love all. Love your neighbor. And it say, hey, just love your neighbor. That's the same religion. That means you gotta love people that's in Judaism. You gotta love all. So if you're just gonna love people that just look like you, have the same beliefs as you, same opinion, grew up the same way, you're missing out. I said this.
Big time.
I said this. You're a hypocrite. So you can bring it. The comments. I'm gonna tell you this. If anything that I express, I do come back with facts and not just opinions and belief. I come back with facts.
Facts based.
Yeah, and the truth.
So, and the truth.
Yeah,
that's exactly. I love it. Love it. I don't have. I had a little wallpaper thing here for 4th of July, but I don't know where it went. Anyways, all right, folks. Hope you're having a happy, safe 4th of July.
Yes.
Hope you chewing up some good food, got some good music, got loved ones and friends with you, and celebrating America's independence today. We all can celebrate America's independence. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't.
That's right.
All right, we out. Peace.